Are we live?
Yep.
Hooray! Hello,
Hooray!
Internet. I am Angela. And then you say...
Hello, Angela.
And I am Logan, maybe?
Oh, isn't there a name like right down there?
It's still nice to introduce yourself.
I'm Logan. I do this every night. Do I have to do it every day?
Oh, fine.
No, I'm Logan. Hi, everyone. Hello.
Welcome to Discover RPG.
Welcome.
The show where I need to come up with a better tagline. I now know your pain. Where we shoot the shit and talk about RPGs and D&D and things we enjoy.
I don't remember how many episodes it took me. I would love to know the first episode where I did the 16-player Crazy West Marches style campaign.
Figure out which one it was.
I think it was episode like 40 episodes before I settled on an opening for our show.
So
Demetrius from World Anvil gave me some great advice. Maybe it was Secondhand Samurai, but it was somebody from World Anvil that said you should write down all of the different things you want to say. It'll sound more professional. I'm like, but I don't know what I want to say. I can't write it down because I sit and I go, I'm going to make a tagline.
Thinking,
and then it'll be an hour down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out what the taglines are, and I can't do that anymore. It's just I don't get to spend hours researching those types of things. I got too much to do.
Fair. So if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. We are no, it's just the 4 people that are on their lunch break and accidentally didn't turn this off. But so we are going to be using this stream partly as just a way for us to hang out because we enjoy our Wednesday afternoons that we are both at home. And we also really enjoy talking outside of the stuff we do for the Nerdsmith Network and for Countless Heroes. So we want to just kind of explore all the things we have in common and don't have in common when it comes to playing role-playing games, which we enjoy very much indeed. And we are hopefully going to be using these streaming conversations as a brainstorming device to make short little educational videos about different role-playing topics, whether that's the technical side of streaming on Twitch, or how to run a game, or how to work in a group. So more interpersonal topics that all have to do with RPGs. So whatever we decide to talk about, we kind of bounce around. You can see on our session plan here a little glimpse of what we're going to talk about today. Do you want to talk a little bit about what we have on the list, or should I talk a little bit about what we have on the list?
I can talk a little bit about what we have on the list.
And I'll fill in if you don't remember.
They are words in a 5-point font in the Futura bold style. The All Systems Go is red because Logan made a mistake and it was already too late to change it. It's a PNG photo in a neo sort of retro style. And no, is this okay?
No, actually, you know what? I feel bad because that's actually very informative for the third thing on the list, but not right now. Save it, savor it later.
So right now we're in the playful banter section of our list. Taming of the Brew. We're going to talk a little bit about homebrew today. We're talking about a paladin sacred oath called the Oath of the Common Man, which is very interesting. Crossing the Streams is where we talk about streaming. All Systems Go, we talk about a different system other than D&D. Most of this is about D&D just because that's what we're doing a lot of right now, but and it's what, you may have heard of it. It might be a little popular. Light Up the Forge, we talk about World Anvil. Funhouse Rules, we talk about home rules and house rules that we've used. Live or Play, or Live or Play by Post is a section that Angela has come up with. We're going to talk about playing by post and playing. What else are we talking about in that section? What's that about?
Talking about the difference between playing live in a group and playing by post. And we both have a history of doing that, at least sort of a sort of early gaming experience. So I figured we'd chat a little bit about what that's like and what the differences are and what we might think is better about
style.
style.
Yes, let's talk about my high school role playing. That'd be great.
Me too.
And then limericks or bardic candy is a section that I threw on there for fun, just because I like limericks. Although bardic candy might actually become a thing. We might talk about different things about bards, and maybe have Will Crosswade on, who does a whole series on
yes.
And then of course dance party at the end. If we get that far, we'll have a dance party. We might have a game or two here that we'll throw in.
We didn't start with the theme song. We'll have to end with the theme song. That'll be the dance party. It's called Boogie Woogie. Thank you.
Welcome to Discover RPG. I'm Logan. What do you do now? Introduce yourself, Angela. Gosh.
I'm gonna smack you across the internet.
All right.
That's the missing section there.
Right.
On the bottom
of the robot
section.
here. You can push a button and just smack me in that.
That would be hilarious.
Yes, it would.
I'm sure online taser buttons exist.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they
Probably
don't exist for
very different
I was
reasons.
going to say they only exist for one particular reason. It's probably Bluetooth controlled, so it can happen anywhere.
And that's the playful banter section.
Very playful banter. You do anything interesting this week? Anything fun?
What did I do that was interesting? Yes,
Wait,
I had.
Family.
Oh yeah, I went up to Atlanta to hang out with folks. I played a lot in World Anvil, which is we'll talk about that later, since I have content for that. I also 5 minutes before stream put up this. It was a dollhouse. It's not a dollhouse anymore. But because I didn't tell you. Slowly, I'm going.
Any house that has a doll in it is a dollhouse.
There's no dolls in it right now.
Well,
let me explain.
I'm waiting for you to explain.
I want to turn it into a little multi-level diorama for my D&D miniatures.
Neat.
So the top
Cool.
is going to be like a wizard's library tower with a it's going to have a telescope coming out of the top, and then I'll have, I think, a like a throne room, and then the next one down is going to be like an enchanted forest, and then the one on the bottom is going to be like a dungeon. And I have little little stones that are going to be little gelatinous cubes, and it'll be fun. I have.
Are you gonna paint it or what?
Yeah, you can't see from here, but there's pencil all over it where I want to put stuff. I also have a dragon climbing around the outside of it. It will be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
So I've just now discovered one problem.
Yes.
With your mannerisms, in addition to the lighting and that sweater, it looks like you've lost your left arm, because we have not seen it on camera at all, and we cannot see it. But it's just like it's gone.
Well, the problem is my left arm is pushing the push to talk button, so I can't not use it.
Foot pedals are amazing.
Until you hurt your foot using them too much.
So move your foot. Use a different position.
I'm trying to be
moderate. Maybe there's a Kegel button. You just do Kegels.
No, not going to do that on stream. No? That's a different kind of streaming channel.
I'm sure they do pretty well. All right. But I see stickers on the side. What are all the stickers?
Yes. I have weird random drawings, including an evil mushroom from a Post-it. And these are the Golden Girls on a bookmark that Tessa got me from Rose City Comic Con. That's very nice. I have the wonderful Nerdsmith sticker from being. I'm both a member. What is it? I'm not only a
I'm not only the owner.
I'm not only a spokesman. I'm also a member. And then my equality sticker, because I donate to the Human Rights Foundation. So they gave me a sticker. But yeah, I have fun stuff. I also have drag queens. I have drag queen pictures. Nice. Not pictures, illustrations. And since I showed it you, but I didn't show the streaming audience, I have candles. They're remote controlled.
Well, you're a wizard, Harry.
Hold on. Oh, okay. It's very specific angle for
No,
the.
it's blow to turn off, snap to turn on. That's what's wrong.
Damn it!
You can't hold the button, snap, and turn it on though. That's the problem.
I got them for $15 at Michael's, but they run on 3 AAA batteries apiece. So it's like, holy shit!
You just got really choppy. How's your connection over there?
Green.
You need to call and yell at green. Okay, that was weird. Was that choppy for anybody else or just for me? I guess it was choppy for me. It's probably choppy for.
It didn't.
Show us the drag queens.
Okay, fine.
I may twist her arm.
These are from Chad Sell, who I really love his art. There's one of the pit crew with a bunch of teddy bears. This was a risk. I opened without like even looking at the page. That could have gone real bad. But yeah, these are RuPaul's Drag Race contestants in art form. Oh, nice. And they are pretty fantastic. Chad Sell. It's pretty cool. These are only 2 of the seasons, but he does one for each season, and he does the pictures online too. He started doing animated GIFs too, which is very cool.
Very cool.
No, sadly, Trixie Mattel chat question is not in there because those are only seasons 3 and 4 that I have. And I am trying to save money, so I have not continued purchasing all the seasons of art that Chad has done. But I love Trixie, so. Alrighty. Our music stopped because the dreaded only having our theme song in one folder.
I fixed it.
All right. So is that enough playful banter, or do we need to keep padding the front of this? Not that it's padding. It's we're enjoying each other's company, and I'm doing show and tell.
We're just nerding out. That's what this show's about.
That's true.
Ooh, I rhymed.
Woo, good job. What did you...
let's go ahead and move on.
Okay. I mean, you can also share if you want. What did you do? What did you do this week?
Gamed. I streamed. I mean, my life doesn't change much because the holidays are around. I went and saw my family, then I came home and streamed right after. That's literally what happened both nights. So I am on Thanksgiving and then Saturday Thanksgiving. I
am so excited for you to play the game that I got you to buy.
Which game?
Stanley Parable. I'm very excited for you to play the Stanley Parable.
Yeah, so that's something I did start working on, getting my personal video game stream set up, and realizing that I am very bad at streaming. I'm practicing a lot. I think the type of game matters a lot. Also, I think doing it with someone else is helpful. When I was playing with my wife a little bit on a game, particular games, I was a lot more vocal than when I'm playing by myself. But I think having the audience and things might be a little different. But I'm trying to make a funny Muppet, because it's going to be called Devious Muppet. So I'm trying to make a funny Muppet, at least until I get sued or cease and desist. But I'm trying to make a funny Muppet layout, but it doesn't look childlike. I want it to look adult-like, because if it looks too childlike, I'm worried people will have their. This is not
a kids show.
It's not a children's show. Exactly. It's just it's called Devious Muppet, but who knows? But it's really difficult to walk that line between childlike and playfully.
I mean, just go listen to some Avenue Q. The key is to be
great. Give me the visuals. That's the problem.
The key is to be
the visuals in Avenue Q are not necessarily. I mean, they're just puppets. You go look at their artwork and stuff. It's just black in their standard colors. It's not. There's no art to it. It's just a very minimalist style. So I may have to go with something like that to kind of bring it around. But I had this idea of doing. I had this original idea. You know what? Who did a shadow puppet that I was really impressed by? They just rated us the other night. It was the guy with the puppets on their show. I'm trying to remember the name.
Someone you followed on
stream does an amazing job. They did a Beholder shadow puppet.
Oh, that's so cool!
Really, really good. It was so good.
Awesome.
Great stream. They're over on Hyper RPG now, I believe. I'm trying to remember who they are. Perception Check. It's Perception Check. The show with the two. They have two professional puppeteers who play puppets who are playing D&D with the rest of the crew and the DM. So it's really good. Pickle. Is it Pickle or Cucumber? Cucumber, I think. and I can't remember the other one. I can't ever remember them. I'm so lost. Anyway, they're really awesome. You should go check them out. Stanley Parable is going to probably be the first thing I stream.
Cool.
Seriously, before that, I'm probably going to do a little stream of just something quick and fun, like I don't know what. We'll figure something out just to get the feel of it and the hang of it, because I understand Stanley Parable is kind of thought provoking.
It is, and no one in chat spoil it for him.
Yeah,
he knows very little.
I know nothing about it. I literally know nothing other than a few people that I've seen play it.
I'm
very excited to play it. As long as it's not a horror game. Horrors are going to be reserved only for charity streams for when I start destroying my sleep schedule because I can't sleep.
It's really weird, but it's not horror.
I like weird. I don't even mind. It's the jump scares that get me. I don't mind psychological terror. Jump scares, I'm just like, it's cheap.
You'll be fine.
I don't mind cheap thrills occasionally. I love watching other streamers play horror games, like Markiplier playing through Resident Evil 7. It's one of my favorites. I mean, he's an amazing streamer, which is why he gets paid the big bucks, literally. But he's a great streamer. I love watching them play it, but that's because I can be working and not really paying attention to all the scary stuff. If I'm in it, and especially with the lights out, no, that's not happening. But anyway, so that was a lot of talk about a whole other thing I'm doing, and I'm sorry about that. But anyway, that is something I'm getting set up. Hopefully going to start doing that sometime in December when I have some time off after we get the humongous list of to-dos for Nerdsmith done that we're going to do by the end of the year. But hopefully I'm going to put a chunk of those off today, barring any other catastrophes.
I'm taking a nod to Jay in the chat, and so definitely don't play Spooky's House of Jump Scares. But
Spooky's House of Jump Scares looks adorable. Is that the one with the little tiny cute
that's
little
the one that Griffin, that's the one. It doesn't stay.
I know it doesn't. I know, but it
watching
looks adorable.
Griffin McElroy play that and just go,
okay, I gotta watch that.
It's really funny.
All right, I'll watch that later today.
Griffin gets so upset. I'm not supposed to be scared by this. It starts out with these cute
little pop-up things, and then it gets kind of dark, right?
He's like, it's the sound, it's not the visual, but it just keeps scaring
it's always
me.
the sound. It's the sound. I mean, that's what sound engineers are paid the minimalist bucks.
Oh.
I know.
Thank you for bringing down the tone so we can get back to business.
Let's get down to business to defeat the puns. All right, what are we doing? I don't even know what we're doing. Taming of the Brew. Oh, we're going straight into that.
Yes.
So today's Taming of the Brew is the Oath of the Common Man, which is a Paladin Sacred Oath from
Wallrock Homebrewing. I was talking to them today.
Oh, that's exciting. They should put inside of their PDF somewhere a little thing so people can make sure they know where they got it.
Mm-hmm. I'll put it in chat. I'll put it in chat, and I'll put it in the video description that you can get Wallrock. It looks like Warlock. It's intentionally misspelled, so it's Wallrock Homebrew. And they've got a blog, and they make a bunch of other homebrew content. And they have some stuff on DMs Guild. Great. So if you like this particular homebrew, you should enjoy it.
How controversial do we want to get on this show?
Why? I'm okay.
I'm curious. Is it something we want to touch on things that are a little controversial?
A little, maybe.
Okay,
I don't want to get too heavy.
I'm not talking about politics or religion or anything. I'm talking about inside the game. I thought maybe someday we should talk a little bit about DMs Guild and what putting your content on DMs Guild really means.
Sure. No, I think that's valuable.
Understand how much of their rights they're giving away.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing if you don't intend to do anything with it, but it is important to know.
Because Wizards of the Coast has done something that no other site like this I've ever seen has done. They used the dungeon or DMs Guild like an Excalibur test. They said, if you're familiar with Excalibur test or the idea, or Last Starfighter or something, the idea is, who can draw the sword from the stone type of thing. They put DMs Guild out, and I don't know if they intended this initially. They just saw RPG Now. They went to RPG Now and said, hey, we like what you do. We want to do one that's just D&D, just 5e. And they created a whole separate site. Basically, you give them complete control over your thing. You can never publish it again in anything you want, but But what they do is they give you a platform to be able to sell your content, and it's worked really well for a lot of people. I'm not saying don't put stuff on DMs Guild. Please don't think that. Just be informed. Understand that if you put something on DMs Guild, you can't publish it anywhere else. It's not, you lose the right to publish it anywhere else. You still own it, but you can no longer use it in any other commercial product. That's why the Gunslinger doesn't appear in the Tal'Darai setting book for Matt Mercer's game, for Critical Role. But the big thing is, though, WotC then went to the people who were doing really good things there and said, come work with us on a project. Come down and we're going to rent out a studio. We're doing 3 days of a full set live event to talk about our new thing. We're spending millions of dollars to make this happen, and we want you to be here. And they brought people down, and made them involved, and they said, by the way, we're doing this humongous campaign. We want you to do art. We want you to do maps. And they went to all these people and had them write on it, and it was just really incredible to have them do that. And they paid them to do it, is my understanding. God, I hope so. That is amazing to give back to the community in that level. So in that respect, DMs Guild, in my mind, is 100% a success. And if you want to be noticed in the industry, especially if you ever want to get a job in the industry, one of the big things that Mike Merle says is you've got to publish. Even if you self-publish, even if it's just on DMs Guild or something like that, get your work out there. Don't just sit on it forever. Don't wait for someone to do it. Self-publish it somewhere, because every time you do, that's another tick on your resume. You can be like, look, I put all this content out over here. And then eventually maybe you win a silver or gold on their sales list. And you're like, boom, now I've got that on my list. Done. Check off. Anyways, sorry, that was a completely random little thing, but DMs Guild is something I'm very passionate about. And making sure that artists retain their control of their work is something I'm very, very concerned about. Especially running Nerdsmith, one of our big goals up front, whenever we were talking about how we're gonna structure it, I said Nerdsmith will never control a creator's content. We only get a right to republish it out to the world. I don't ever want to own it. I don't ever want to control it. The only thing we're going to control and hold exclusive rights to are the bonus content, the stuff that's thank yous to our subscribers, and then only until that person or that group leaves the network. If they leave the network, then they get full rights back. So that was something very important to us. And it's very important to me in general, being a creative designer and things, and somebody who wants to get in this industry, that I always maintain the rights to my product. So that's that. So when you're going to DMs Guild, just be aware. That's all. I'm sorry. That was a complete tangent. That wasn't even on our list, but that's what this show does.
We were talking about...
So I apologize. So I'm not saying that putting DM stuff on DMs Guild is bad. I don't ever want anybody to think that. Just be informed. And Oath of the Common Man comes from a place where they do stuff. That's where we got into this tangent.
Which, by the way, Walrock did put credits on the second page.
Put what now?
On the second page, there's a little green box. They were using the D&D formatting. I sent you a link to the most up-to-date version, yeah.
But there's no copyright information or contact information. I wouldn't know where this PDF came from. Is my I was thinking if they had their website somewhere, I could have just easily said this comes from this website. But I understand the formatting. The formatting is amazing. It looks.
I mean, it does have a link to his blog. That's all.
It does?
Yeah.
Where?
Second page. Maybe you're not looking at the one I just sent you.
Is this do I have a different PDF?
I sent you an updated version I got from him today.
Version
0-2. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at.
Sorry, third page, not second page.
Third page.
My bad.
Credits.
When in doubt, keep scrolling because I got the page number wrong.
My apologies.
No,
that is perfect. A credits page. Excellent. I was just looking at the bottom because usually there are little watermarks at the bottom or something. No. That's perfect. Never mind. I completely take it back. This is what happens when I don't get a chance to read through the entire document. Oops. I did skim through the third page up to the third page. I don't look at the little boxes, the callouts, which is probably strange because that's usually the important information. So
we're going to talk about the Oath of the Common Man.
Is that the designer that's in our chat right now?
Possibly.
I am very, very sorry that I am horrible at this. I am not a reader. I don't read very well. Even though I've been reading my whole life, I enjoy it. It's just I'm very slow, so it takes me a while to get through things. And evidently, comprehension and recognition is another issue of mine. So my apologies, wholeheartedly. So Angela, tell me about the Oath of the Common Man a little bit.
So the Oath of the Common Man, from a flavor perspective, is designed to be a champion for laborers and the common folk and the people who often get stepped on by the upper classes, the ones that are the sort of invisible newsies. Yes, you could make a newsie. That would be great. Oh my god. And this is what this segment's for. This segment is for brainstorming what you could do with this sort of thing. So the Oath of the Common Man, the paladin abilities, your patron is not so much a god, it's just sort of like the spirit of unity and equality of the common man. It's, as it says in a lot of the descriptions, it's a communist paladin, essentially.
Right,
a lot of the visuals on the PDF have to do with, sort of old school like communist propaganda posters and stuff, like but so they talk about the tenets of that oath have to do with equality, community, respect, change, and labor. So in order for the world to improve, we have to respect the people that work really hard as a group to get the hard work done. And we have to also understand that, systems, if they're not just, systems need to be overthrown sometimes. The world changes. Four
legs good, 2 legs bad.
What I really enjoy about the oath is it's got a very nice series of support abilities that you are bringing your party all up as one, giving them different things that you can do to sort of improve everyone's chances of survival, or for everyone to succeed.
So now here's one thing that kind of stood out to me: the aura of solidarity, which I love the concept of. And that's, with communism, I think that's part of it, is the concept of a lot of these things, these political ideals sound great. But I think communism specifically is, when summed up in a very layman way, it's each person gets an equal share, but they put in up to their ability. And I think this kind of goes backwards. So like each person, I can't remember, there's a catchy little way of saying that. To each their ability, or from each their ability to each, I don't remember. But the concept being that, if you are not, you do what you can, but that you need to be treated with respect and equality. And I understand that. Receiving equal shares of damage across, the ability basically spreads damage around to all your allies.
It's kind of like a party-wide version of, oh god damn it, that one ability that I used. It's the ability that I used once as a cleric in our last campaign and never used it again because we both died. Because I used it and it double damaged us. But the idea of, if you think everyone can carry that weight,
guardian shield or something like that, and basically you take half the damage of a party member.
I'm sure it'll end up in chat at some point. Someone will be like, "It's this."
I'm sure somebody out there is better at this than we are.
Yeah, it's okay. That's fine. I understand.
A lot of people are better than we are.
I mean, yes, I understand that.
Out there, at least when it comes to rules and stuff.
Warding bond. It's called warding bond. That was not from chat. I looked it up. But that it's very much that. It's very much a party-wide version of warding bond, which with specifics to it, but in general I like it a lot.
But basically, the idea is you equally divide out the damage to all of the party. The problem is some party members can take that no problem. A barbarian especially takes that damage. And I know it says specifically it's willing, so the cleric, the wizard can opt out.
Yes, I was going to say that is a good clarification that they gave. It has to be a willing participant.
Is that in a truly group like this that would take this to heart as the entire group, they would all want to take that damage to their ability.
Especially the more people that take it, the less the damage would be.
Correct. And that's the whole idea, isn't it? If everybody works a little, then nobody has to work a lot. The problem is you're still stuck in a group of 6 people in science class having to do 90% of the work because the other 5 are assholes.
But that's, think about it in a battle situation where somebody is in they have a strategic role that is vital. They have to survive to get something done. They have to run through a cavern and a bunch of archers are shooting at them, and you need to make sure they get across that. Your group can take that damage for them.
Absolutely.
Let them get across. It has its moments of, I could see, very dramatic narrative usefulness. It definitely plays into the way that our parties tend to be, which is if somebody buys into the party, everybody is very protective of each other and is willing to make sacrifices for each other. Absolutely. So I absolutely see a party being willing to use that ability.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. And I know we don't always want to talk a lot about the technical side of things. From a technical standpoint, it becomes kind of a nightmare, at least in my mind, because every round you might have different people dividing this damage. So it's literally, it says every time it happens. Normally abilities
you can choose to do it though. You don't have to. It's just you may choose to
right. What I'm saying is that, okay, so some of the hardest combats I've ever thrown at people have been combats where 2 or more creatures share damage. It becomes a nightmare because it doesn't matter who they damage. It's completely shared. So every one of those creatures, you can't focus damage. They're all going to die at the same time. So you theoretically would want to use this as much as possible.
Sure.
The difference being, like, if it was a barbarian that was hit, it's split all the damage between the party, or half the damage. Let the barbarian take it. Just heal the barbarian. Let's move on. But I can definitely see this being a great one once you start having things like mass heal. Like, mass heal only heals a little bit of damage. Well, if you take one big hit amongst the whole party, it's only a little bit of damage. It's a lot easier to heal that damage down. But the concern becomes when every hit you're dealing with different number of people. You have to split the damage differently every single time. So it could just become a bit difficult to figure that out, especially in a large group, 6, 7, 8 people.
Sure.
To figure out who's getting the damage, what turns, why, how much, etc. But again, I just try to look at it a little bit from a rules perspective as well. Normally, abilities like this are reaction. You can do your reaction to do it. Like, okay, I can spread that damage out. Like, there's that shield barbarian that can react and get in there. I think the one you're talking about is
reaction would be reasonable.
But I think it's based on the one you're talking about. What was that ability called?
Warding bond.
Warding bond, because I think warding bond happens all the time.
It's you take half of that damage. Yeah.
But that's like a set ability. So I might even set it up where it's an ability you have to turn on going into battle, or you can turn on at some point. Or you can change who gets it at what point instead of with an action or something. So much like Warding Bond, you have to turn it on, but then it divides it up between the people that agree to turn it on. Yeah. That gives a little bit of the idea that somebody can just opt out when they're too low. It puts a little danger in the idea that, okay, you may get stuck taking some damage you don't want at some point. The wizard can still opt out at the beginning and be like, hey, no, not me. But then everyone else will be like, all right, yeah, I'll go ahead and share damage. And then you either have to get out of the range of the aura at that point, or you have to, that way the changes is a little bit different. Again, I'm not saying it needs to change. That's just a thought I had, literally with no play testing at all. Obviously, I just look at how people might use it.
I will get to that particular phrase a little bit. I have an idea.
Oh, okay. I
took this idea and wrote like half a page idea this afternoon about this. I was like,
very cool.
This would be fun. Anyway, so just going over a couple of things, basics. I'll try to be quick about some of the other features that the Oath of the Paladin or the Oath of the Common Man has. The Paladin spells that you get this subclass have to do with, obviously, protecting your party is part of it. You have sort of de-escalation. There's some party control. There's some crowd control stuff in there.
I love Revolutionary Spirit.
Oh, where is that?
Revolutionary Spirit's the 15th level ability that lets you take the help action.
I do too.
Bonus action.
Yes, being able to give someone help.
Ability.
That's fun. I like it a lot.
There's so much you can do with the help action, and being able to do that as a bonus action, and especially at 15th level. 15th level, you have so much else going on that is giving advantage to somebody every round. Not a huge deal. You have other things you want to spend your bonus action on too, but it is just a neat ability. And then, of course, the charisma check, the roleplay bonus on top of that with interacting with the common man and laborers. I like.
Yeah, there's a couple of flavors
like that ability a lot. I've never seen.
Me too.
Help as a bonus action, because the help action is sorely underused and underrated. I think I used it as a wizard or I wasn't a wizard. Excuse me, I was a barbarian. I was an elven barbarian, a dex-based elven barbarian, which means 3 of my abilities at first level were negated because I was a dex-based fighter, and I went into it knowing that, completely okay with that. But for the first 2 or 3 combats, I only did the help action. I actually pretended I was a wizard. I didn't like to fight. I was a pacifist.
Pacifist barbarian, that's playing hard mode right there.
Well, it was against people. Monsters, I had no problem. I'll step in on monsters if necessary. But with people, I didn't want to hurt people. So
sure.
I didn't mind other people hurting. I just didn't want to be responsible. It's not a moral thing. I don't want them to get hurt. It's more of I don't want to feel guilty about doing it. And he would just use the help action, and the DM was very generous, allowed me to use prestidigitation every turn to do the help action. So instead of running up and trying to distract them, I would like sparkle lights in their face, or give their buddy a purple mohawk and be like, "What the hell's up with that?" So the idea, was that I still was doing the help action just a little bit from a distance, and literally the party thought I was a cleric or a wizard for probably the first 3 or 4 sessions. But the help action is amazing. There's so much you can do it. And I would say that the advantage I gave was just as effective as the damage I would have been dealing. Just because of the amount of, especially at that level, the amount of times you miss, getting that advantage just as effective.
Yeah.
So completely underrated. But no, I love that a lot. By the way, I do want to throw out there, I see that the creator said that all of his stuff is pay as you what you want.
Which is so cool. Skills, I have a laundry list of people that I'm just going to be dumping money at soon. Yeah. Where I'm like, you let me try this and it's worth it.
Out there that not a lot of people know, you can go in and purchase the product and then go back and repurchase it and pay for it. So
yes.
They're basically letting you try it before you buy it. And I'll be very clear here, if you find any value in a product that you get for free and you have the ability to pay that person for it, you need to pay them for it.
Give them give them something.
99 cents, $1, whatever.
Yeah.
If you found value, you need to pay for it. Period. End of story. Everyone is working super hard in this industry. I see people every day. What has been done here is professional. It's well laid out. They could be making modules and writing books professionally and selling them to publishers. They're not. They're making it for everyday common people, much like the Oath of the Common Man.
In the spirit of it.
In the spirit of the Common Man, they give it to everybody. But in the spirit of the Common Man, if you have an ability to pay, you should pay.
There are flavor choices in just the way that this is written that I really love.
Okay.
So I was saying before that the paladin spells you get to choose from. There's the trying to help with a group, trying to support your fellow party members to bring everybody up. So like enhance ability, it's like, oh well, I will equalize what's going on by giving you a little bit of a boost in something you might need help with. But then also to have fabricate in there, like, oh yes, a worker, you would be able to fabricate things. I really love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought put into this. This is not something thrown together willy-nilly. You said that there was just updated, so I'm assuming there were some minor changes made.
There's some mechanical stuff, especially to the 20th level. There were some changes made. I think from what I had seen in some of the notes that other people had commented on in the version I was looking at before, was that the 20th level one felt like it was a little overpowered. So I think it's been balanced a little bit, brought it down a bit. Namely in how long it lasts. It lasts a lot less than it did before.
All right.
But one of the channel divinity options for the paladin, I really, really enjoyed Turn the Bourgeois, which It's like Turn Undead, except it's for anyone who holds people as a lesser. Anyone who so it says specifically it targets fae, non-chaotic fiends, or dragons. Things that make people subservient. But it says at your DM's discretion, aristocratic humanoids and undead may also be affected by this ability as long as they are intelligent and unsympathetic to the plight of the lower classes. I
was gonna say there's quite a few aberrations that could probably fit into that as well. I would definitely
really love the tone of that.
Yeah, I would definitely flavor that and allow that to work in a lot of situations. I love that idea of and that hits home with any of these stories. If you look at it, most of the time, the reason why, in the deep-seated reason why the people like this will turn on the common man is because they're afraid. And it just plays into that fear more. They're afraid of losing what they have. They believe that they're better and they deserve better. So in situations like that, I agree that this would be a great ability to use in a lot of situations. There have been times when I've had people standing against in the street, standing against rows of musketeers ready to fire. And this would be the type of moment that would be like, really, you're going to fire on me? And then you stand up and you talk and you talk about
Spartacus.
The common man and you pull an I am Spartacus and you Spartacus all over the place.
But so okay. So the last, I think the only one we haven't talked about a little bit is the 20th level ability, Strength of the People. You become as it says, a larger than life icon of the working class and their revolutionary struggle. What?
Or I was going to say Paul Bunyan or John Henry.
There you go. Well, it's John Henry, but Paul Bunyan sized.
Right. Paul Bunyan, John Henry. Yeah. Paul John Henry Bunyan.
Oh. Is that from working on the rails? You get
too much hammering. Too much whopping.
But yeah, so you grow to a large size. You can, I guess, sort of not inspire, but you give people temporary hit points if they can see and hear you, or see or hear you. And you can do the help action to a number of people at once. So you're giving multiple people advantage, and it lasts for a minute. And it's a long rest refresh feature. But I really, really dig this idea that you're sort of this like folk hero would absolutely fit with this subclass as a background. Just this idea that you're sort of this, it could be rural or urban depending on the flavor you want to go, but you just stick up for people and you try to encourage the people around you to fight for themselves and to stick together. It's fantasy unions. Hooray.
Yes.
So
I love this across the board.
Yeah, this is just a really fun one. So this afternoon I came up with an idea, and this is Walrock, this is all your fault. I want to play a campaign. I want to run a campaign, real low stakes. It's going to take place in a bar. It's basically, I'm thinking I'm just calling it Fantasy Cheers. But you run a bar. I want to play, the moment I first saw this one, I wanted to play a Paladin of the Common Man bartender. I wanted to run a tavern where people can come and feel safe and have a community, and weary travelers can come stay and get this vibe for what the village is like. That's like, no, this is like the welcome wagon. Maybe we call it the welcome wagon. I actually thought of calling it Brewed Awakening, and they make coffee and beer. And so it's like a full service B&B tavern place. And I basically would have each player play someone who works at the tavern, some different role. So it's bartenders or a barista or a maid person, or I was like, you could be a call girl that rents a room long-term upstairs a la Firefly, or anything, and just everything takes place in the tavern. It's just people. I have the subtitle is "The Party Meets in a Tavern and Proceeds to Never Leave." It just takes place completely in that tavern setting, and that's all it is. It's a very micro story. Whether you do there'd be social challenges and RP interactions and things like that, but then there might also be an occasional, like, somebody comes and tries to hold up the tavern, like, tries to rob the tavern, and everybody who works there deals with it. Or a monster comes through town and that sort of thing. And, like, the most macro, higher level stuff would be the town is under siege and the people at the bar decide to take up arms and help.
I think that's a great idea. So
but just as it's like a micro story, you know? It's like, oh, well...
I like that idea.
Like, someone's a cook and one of the quests is like, oh, well... our batch of flour didn't make it today. We can't make pancakes for breakfast. What are you going to make out of what you have left in this kitchen right now? Things like that. It would sort of be goofy and low stakes and more of a personal interest game, which I enjoy. And I have half a page already written about it, so it will probably happen at some point.
It'd also be a great idea to start and give flavor. You know, you've got the bartender by the bar, the Ted Danson's type character.
Yeah.
Got the Norm
this is very Cheers inspired.
The call girl, you have Lily Tomlin up there.
You just called Lily Tomlin a call girl.
She was the original call girl.
She was a waitress.
I was thinking of her character from Laughing, but that's all right.
Okay, fine.
1 ringy-dingy, 2 ringy-dingy.
We just split the audience. We just split the audience.
We did, just 100%. Half the people got that joke. Half the people are looking at me like I'm crazy. Actually, it might be a third. A third that went your way, a third that went my way, and a third that are like,
whatever.
We were born in 2001, right? You know? Fucking hell. Okay.
So, we don't have any sort of rating system, but I think just in general, we're both very positive about this homebrew. It's got a lot of really neat potential. I'm big into, community bonding and teamwork as theme and motif in games. So this plays so well into that. And I love the idea of a paladin that is not just, I'm going to charge up in front. It's, I'm going to charge up in front and I'm going to empower all of you to do more too. I like the idea of a support paladin like that. It's a very fun flavor.
Yes. And you look at things very differently than I do, which is great. Part of why I think we work so well here. I look at, and this sounds weird, but for me, when I go into a piece of work like this, the first thing I notice is the design, the layout and design. It's a professional layout. It looks like it comes straight out of the WotC books. It's incredibly intuitive. Everything except for the credits, evidently, it's incredibly intuitive. Everything is exactly where I would expect it. I was able to find the information I needed. So for me, someone who cannot read everything, it was just very easy to find the information that interested me the most. It's good balance overall, it seems, other than maybe that one little issue with the Aura of Solidarity, but I would have to play with it and see exactly how it would go before I would make a final judgment on that. And I could see myself creating a character around this class. That's the other thing. There are many classes, many that are in the main books, that I go, I will never make this character. It's not for me.
And that's fine.
And it's weird because I think of a lot of weird characters to make. I cannot. There are a few in the book that I could not come up with. I can't even come up with a concept where I'm like that would be fun to play. I have this weird low charisma, low con wizard concept that I absolutely adore. He's got like 4 hit points, and he's very annoying, and the party doesn't want to ever be around him. But he's endearing, and I can't remember what subclass he was, but it made sense. And sometimes you just hit a subclass, you're like, I can't do that. This subclass, I can see myself playing easily. So all of those things make me rate it very, very high. If we had a rating system, I don't know what we call it, but I give it like a 4.5. So that's fine. I don't know. The Aura Solidarity. And then the only other thing that hits me a little bit is and they play into this, is the idea that this might bring up a level of politics in the game that people don't want to deal with. You have a lot of people that want to stay away from politics.
Well, and that's kind of partly why I was pitching this bartender idea. You keep that focus in a micro sense. You might be able to avoid that if you're not interested in playing political campaigns.
Absolutely.
You're more of a just, in general, I want to support people who work hard and deserve to just have a pint at the end of the day without a troll breaking in and ruining everything.
Exactly. I would say if the creator is interested, we should definitely have them on the show.
Heck yeah! I'll reach out to you on Reddit, and if you're interested at all, It'd be
if
really
you're
fun.
interested in coming on and doing a segment or something.
They also said that they have a capitalist paladin counterpoint.
Really? Okay. So now I want to. Now next week we'll have to do that one because now you've.
Maybe next week. Let's pad some time so we can go through.
We'll wait till July. We'll do it on July 4th.
Sure. All right. Yeah. So awesome. Oath of the Common Man Paladin, and I'll put the info in when the video uploads. There'll be info in the description about where you can get it and where you can see Walrock's other stuff. And yeah, thank you so much for after the fact letting us talk about it. Walrock, I'm glad I reached out.
Yeah. Also, the you know, whenever you say I'll put in the description, you have to put it in the YouTube description too, right?
Yes, that's what I'm doing. That's what I mean when I do that. I'm assuming someone's watching it after the fact.
I thought you meant posting here.
I put it already in the chat. I got you covered.
Oh, you're amazing. So
it's a little high up, but so I'll put it back again. But yeah. All right, so we have something that you can talk at length about. We can both talk.
I talked about length pretty good there.
Everyone watching the stream can see what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about for across the streams. We're going to talk about layout.
I don't have it up. I can't see anything. So
I always have it up so I can see the list.
Oh, you're talking about the physical.
Yes, our current layout.
You're talking about the hours and hours I spend agonizing over the exact placement of every square on these gosh darn.
Yep.
So what are we talking about exactly?
Well, you had the topic. We didn't put it up here, but because we made it a segment. But it was called Faces Matter. We were going to talk about sort of things to consider when you're designing a streaming layout based on what you've experienced.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So at the end of every one of our Countless Heroes streams, if we have more than 15 people at this point, I look to do a raid of another show because I love it when people come over with raids into our show, no matter how big they are. I just can't take the energy to do it every single night at 11 o'clock at night. So if we have over 50 people, I go and take a look and see who's available. And for me, I have a certain look and feel of a show that I'm going for. There are certain requirements I have. I hate to call them requirements, but if you're going to get my time and effort for me to click over and raid you and find out what your show's about, make sure it's of an appropriate level and check that it's live and not just a rerun. I actually did that once. There's a lot of effort that goes into that at 11 o'clock at night after 5 hours of streaming, after 8 hours of working, after 2 hours of commute. So it's there's some effort. So the biggest thing for me is that faces matter on my streams, other than my video game stream, because that one it doesn't matter. But when we're doing a role play stream or something like this, I want to see the people. That's what's the most important thing to me. I want to see their reactions. I want to see the role play. I want to see the drama. I want to see their fears, their excitement, and that's what I want to see. Especially when you're dealing with streams like this, where or Countless Heroes, where everyone is in an individual place and we can't play off each other in person and we can't hug each other and we don't get the excitement of actually being in the same room, because there's nothing quite like role playing in the same room. You need to see the faces. So that was the main thing. I wanted all the faces to be as large as possible while still having room for whatever else we needed to do in Countless Heroes. Now, by demand, people wanted a combat screen. So in those cases, when we're doing combat and people are not necessarily doing a lot of role play, so you don't need to see their faces, we shrank everyone down, we moved them off the sides, and we made a huge role play screen in the center, because in those situations, the board is what's most important. So we set that up. But that's one of the things I look for in a stream, is I want to be able to see the faces. So when I'm designing these layouts, and I've designed Discover RPG, the Cantata Pentaphical, Countless Heroes, and Countless Chronicles. So I've done 4 of them now.
And Hangman.
So 5.
Which we'll talk about.
I wasn't 100% happy with, but that was also thrown together in about 30 minutes. But the overall, yeah, that's faces are one of the most important things. All of this other stuff is fluff. And yes, on this one, I could have made Angela and I bigger. We would have lost everything. We wouldn't have this little thing in the center. We wouldn't have anything below. So faces aren't the only thing that matter. They're just the most important. So that is, I guess, the big point there with faces matter is that, you know, make sure that people can see you. If you're streaming on Roll20 and you're just using the whole Roll20 page as your stream. Thank you. Thank you for the call. Raver Convict.
I couldn't see that person in chat because their name was black. It was like an invisible person had said hello.
Oh, I have the light theme on. Was that Raven? Oh, did we get 2 followers? I don't know what's going on. I'm so lost.
It's okay.
The new Gamer 02. Hello. So the what was I talking?
Streaming.
So the other stuff is important
Video
too.
games.
I completely lost what I completely lost. Not getting distracted by that stuff is also, but that could have made us much bigger, but we would have lost all that other stuff, and that other stuff is important as well. You got to find that balance. Oh, if you're streaming an actual play, and you are just using Roll20, and everybody's icon is 1 inch large on my screen at the bottom of your screen, but I can see your, for a mile on your city map, and it's just a city map. That to me doesn't do it for me. I'm not going to click on your stream. I'm not ever going to go look at it. There are people out there that have been doing this a long time that have a following like that. It's not for me. If all I see are your players is their character art, I'm not going to click on your stream. I'm not interested in just listening to. I'll go listen to a podcast. This is me. I'm not saying that everyone has to be like this. What I'm saying is these are the things that are important to me as a designer, as a entertainer, I guess. I never considered myself an entertainer, but
you are now.
Yeah, I guess that's what I am now. And as a network head, God, I hate to say it like that. Not like a network, like a producing network, but as a group, an organization network, although maybe someday a producing network. These are the things that make good entertainment for me. This is what I see in the big professional shows. You can see everyone, and they are the focus, and they are the main thing. That is what I'm there to see. So for us to do a raid, that is what we're looking for. Is for people like that. And with the fact that you've got D&D becoming very much a game that is starting to be sold to people through personalities, through celebrity that becomes celebrity because of the game, the people that are playing are vitally important, at least to a lot of people, to enjoy the stream that's happening. And yeah, having that complete disconnect, it's like listening to a phone call of a bunch of people that you don't know. It's like, oh, well, I want to actually connect with those people on a human level. And so seeing their faces, having those be bold and prominent, it's just part of it. It is an entertainment industry. It's not. Yeah. And there are 3 parts to communication. There's the context of what you're saying. There's the tone in your voice that you're saying it with. And even in sign language, there can be a tonal quality to it. And then there's body language. So those 3 things are so very important to communication. If you cut any one of them out, you're a third less effective at it. It's actually a little different than that. Context is have you ever gotten in an argument with someone over text, realizing that you guys were arguing about the exact same thing? You're both saying the same thing in different ways. That 9 times out of 10 can be solved by having an in-person conversation, or even just a voice conversation, because you can hear the inflection. A lot of times it's somebody taking something as sarcasm or not realizing something is sarcasm. And we make assumptions even about what our best friends can know or understand. We think that they know us so well that they'll know exactly what we're trying to say, and it's just not true sometimes. Well, on a slight tangent, that's why I think it's also vitally important. Well, the tangent on your tangent, the cotangent, is when you're talking in a text-based format. I highly recommend especially with someone you're regularly talking in text, coming up with a meta language or just a meta level of your conversation. That don't be afraid to clarify things. Don't assume and don't get into fights about stuff if it is clear that chat is a bad way to do this or a bad way to talk about what you're talking about. Angela and I'm going to call us out. Oh, right, sure. Air the laundry. We get into disagreements all the time. We talk to each other daily, many times vocally in video chat daily. We are chatting constantly. we see each other probably more than we see our significant others, except I actually work and live and drive with mine, so that's probably not true for me, but it's definitely true on the other end. You know, because her husband goes to his job and is gone for 8 hours a day, and I get to spend that time with Angela because we work together constantly. We work together very well too, but we get into a lot of those discussions. So a lot of times what we do is we just say, can we wait and chat about this? I think there's something wrong here. Let's do voice chat, or let's wait until we can voice chat, because something's wrong here, and we're getting defensive or something, and just recognizing those things. Also, use emojis, please.
Yes. Some people find them irritating, but it's really important. Winky faces, super important.
Winky faces. Use the bracket / sarcasm after you do something sarcastic. It helps a lot. Anyway, that was a tangent about communication, because communication is actually one of the biggest things that's important to me. Go ahead.
The conversation about chat communication, we can bring it back up later on the other subject about play-by-post, because that plays a little bit into that, just a little.
So that's basically all I had about crossing streams today, because is the phases. We can talk about all the other stuff on these layouts later, but you know, the name of the show is important, but not as important as you think, because once they're on your page, they've got the name up at the top or down below or somewhere else. So if it cycles in that, like on Countless Heroes, you'll notice that, well, actually Countless Heroes stays on top, but like our sponsor logo and the Nerdsmith logo, those all just kind of cycle in and out, and they even get covered up now by different things as we go throughout the show. And as we have some amazing artists that have stepped up, some fan artists that have stepped up, that have given us permission to use their art. We're going to have even more of those. That was Autumn. I don't know if she's in chat right now.
I think
Autumn,
she might.
Yes, she is.
Might be.
Autumn is allowing us for Countless Heroes to use some of the art for our NPCs. So we're going to have new NPC. Every time a new NPC comes up, if I remember, then we're going to have a little blurb about them pop up, which is why I desperately need a producer is what I need. I need somebody doing all the crap I do separately, so I can just focus on the stream. Just sitting right here next to me. Just right there. Just sit right there.
Hearts to you too, Autumn. I see you in chat.
Yes, you're amazing, Autumn. Thank you. But we have a lot of amazing artists that work on that show, and we couldn't do it without our volunteers. We sure as hell couldn't afford to pay for all the art that we use. And so thank you so much. And if we can someday,
that doesn't mean you shouldn't pay artists.
No.
Clarifying.
These are people that came in and volunteered that were doing the art anyway, and we just asked if we could use their art. We did not ask them to do art. Don't ask anybody to do art for free. What they did is they were already doing fan art, and we asked if we could use it. That is what happened. So I want to be very clear about that. You pay your artists. We pay every artist that we can, and we have a list of artists that we owe. And when things start to crest over, I guarantee before I take a paycheck, those artists will be paid something. Because that is how that works. But I would settle right now for money stopping flowing out, and just being right there. That would be a great start. Speaking of, if you'd like to support us, you can head over to nerdsmith.org/donate.
Correct.
Sign up there.
Twitch support is great. We donate to Trevor Project through the show as well, right?
Countless
it's just our
Heroes,
general art.
We donate.
Countless Heroes does.
Yeah, Countless Heroes. We donate to Trevor Project. Yeah, no, you and I are taking a paycheck for this one. We do a lot more work on this one. No, we don't do more work, but we don't have 17 people to split it with.
Yes, if you want to support D&D and a good cause.
To be clear, we don't take a paycheck now. We just will sometime in the future.
Someday.
Countless Heroes, everybody does we donate all the money for Countless Heroes.
Yeah, all of that.
It goes to the artist to charity.
Yes. But yes, nerdsmith.org/donate. We have a bunch of shows, not just streaming stuff. We've got podcasts and actual plays and all sorts of cool stuff. And you can take a look and support any number of them with any subscription that you want to do. It's just a thank you to help support people. All of our content is free, with the exception of some special bonus content that we make for our subscribers to have exclusively. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy everything that we have for free. It shouldn't disrupt your ability to enjoy all the content that we put out for you.
Thank you stuff nothing is required listening at all. It's goofy, silly, extra things that are definitely worth paying for. But They're thank yous. It's not a paywall to get access to extra stuff. We don't ever want to do that. I'm not saying we won't ever do it, but we don't want to. We want to keep everything free for everyone. We want to be like the common man. We want to be the oath of the common man. We want everything to be available to everyone. But that means that the common man, those who have the ability, if they can support us, that would be amazing, because that means that we can continue to do these things. And the goal is here that Angela and I don't ever need to go back to work. I mean, we're already at work. I'm working 3 jobs.
Yes, I mean,
Angela's helping me work one of them. So the goal is, though, we would love to just move into this full time sometime in the next couple of years. And the sooner we can do that, the sooner we can start making even more amazing content. We can do this show twice a week. We can make other shows. We could be doing this literally, 5 days a week. I don't say 7, but 5 days a week. Plus, I'll probably still keep running some Saturday stuff. So that is what we would love to be doing, is to bring this channel full time. But we would need your help to do that. So anyway, that's the last time we're going to talk about.
And
that
that's how
today,
you
hopefully.
And that's how you segue seamlessly in a stream to talking about supporting you. So that stayed on topic. I brought it back.
Yes,
we do need shameless plugs somewhere in the middle of our session plans. We'll schedule it. We'll say we'll talk about
what the red is for. There you go. If you get to the red before you've plugged your show, you're in trouble. There, that's what is totally planned and anticipated.
Sure.
All systems go, Angela.
All systems go. So we play a lot of D&D, like a lot of D&D. Too much D&D, some might say. Some might say. I didn't say it was an objective
400
fact.
hours already in 17 weeks. What are you talking about?
But there are other games out there, shockingly. There's a lot of really cool games out there. A lot of really neat
RPGs
systems.
Besides D&D?
There's a lot of really neat systems. So we'll pick something to highlight every so often. This one's a little special because we're not talking about something we found. We're talking about something that Logan made up.
Okay, but it was also found. I don't ever want to lose the credits. Why don't you talk about it a little bit? I'm going to go find the credit real quick.
Yeah, so the original system was borrowed from somebody? Okay. I do want to clarify one thing, though, Logan, because it probably will come up. I don't want to talk about my idea yet.
I don't know what you're talking about, so that's good.
Okay. Well, when we start talking about Hangman, I don't want to talk about the thing that I brought up to you about Hangman.
I understand.
Okay.
So Hangman is a indie RPG that I created based on a 2018 RPG finalist of the 200-word RPG challenge. I was looking for new indie games when we were starting Countless Heroes to introduce my players to games other than D&D. Several have only played D&D, and I wanted to give them the idea, and Critical Role had already done this with Honey Heist, which was amazing. They introduced the idea of indie games to a larger audience, which was amazing. And now we have all these other ones coming out, which is just the best. But companies like the 200-word companies, groups like the 200-word RPG Challenge have been around for 3-4 years at this point, and then there's more going way back till the 70s. But the idea that these little games, especially the 200-word challenge RPGs, you have 200 words to create an RPG. And that's the type of situation where Honey Heist came from. It's a challenge where you sit down with a small group of people and you create an RPG based on what you got. Basically the idea is it has to be played with either nothing, paper, pencil, and a couple of D6s usually. I think they've expanded to include any of the dice now since a lot of people have those. So the 200-word RPG was a very simple concept. You play Hangman. The word on Hangman is the name of the monster or creature that the people are going after. It's like Monster of the Week style. And every time the group needs to do something significant, they guess a letter. If they guess wrong, the monster gets closer. If they guess right, they advance their plot towards success. It was a very simple concept that I blatantly took and ran on with. The author is shadowofthecabal.com, Tanner Clausen. And it was originally called the News 2018 finalist. It was a really, really neat idea. Ooh, they have an actual play podcast. We should listen to that. So that is shadowofthecabal.com. So go check them out because they are they are the ones that created this, so I don't want to take anything away from them. I then turned it into Hangman, which is my version of it, which uses my limited understanding of the Powered by the Apocalypse system in my own little twisted way. So the idea is very similar to that. Basically, I use usually cryptids because they have strange names that are hard to guess, and read up a little bit on the flavor of the cryptid, and I tell a quick story with that flavor around it. The rules are no Googling and no taking notes. So you can't write down what letters you've used and things like that. And the game starts out with a quick description. Oh, and you play either high school or late high school or college kids, and you choose. There's only two stats. There's you choose your major or what subject you do best in school, and you choose your hobby or your extracurricular activity. So that's usually the thing in school that you like the most, and the thing out of school that you like the most, because those are usually the two things you're best at. And anything that you can justify relating to one of those two things, you get a +1 on any die roll. That's it. It's very simple. And it's all up to the players. I let them decide what they can justify and what they can't. Because in this system, a +1 usually isn't an incredible amount. The basic idea of the Powered by the Apocalypse system is you roll 2d6. On a 6 or lower, it's a complete failure. On a 7 through 9, it is a partial success. Or is it 6 through 9? I can't remember exactly. And then a 10, 11, or 12 is a complete success. Partial success can either mean you only partially do what you want, or you completely do what you want and something bad happens as well. So the idea is then you just do the role-playing game, and you just go along. And every time the players do something significant, I let them guess a letter as a group. Now the idea evolved a little bit into a new idea, because at one point, Angela got stuck. They were in a theater, and Angela was playing a character who got stuck, locked in the ticket booth
in a movie theater
at a movie theater, and she had the ability to break the glass. So I'm like, she's either going to get away or this needs to end. So I told her, I said, you can guess a letter just by yourself. You can't listen to anyone else. Nobody else can talk to you. You guess one letter by yourself. If you get it right, you live. If you get it wrong, you die. And then all of a sudden, this death save became a thing. Then I realized I wanted him to stick to an hour, and towards the end, as the tension was building towards the end of the story, if we started to approach an hour, I would go into basically sudden death. You can guess as many letters as you want in succession, and it's winner take all. You either get the name or you don't. Also, any player at any time can guess the name of the monster. If they guess right, obviously they win. If they guess wrong, however, they sacrifice themselves in some way to save the party. And I don't think what I explained well was they could do that instead of, like, if they were told you have to guess a letter, somebody could guess the name instead, try to guess the name, and sacrifice themselves instead of forcing people to guess a letter right then. So there was a lot of different options out there. And you adapt the game as you go. Tessa did a great thing where she did a tiered system where she started out with, it was kind of a vampire based, and we actually have this one on our stream. So don't listen to this part if you're going to watch that. But it was, it started out with the hangman was vampire. And as soon as we got vampire, or I think it was Nosferatu. As soon as we got Nosferatu, there was a second tier. There was another hangman that popped up, and all of a sudden we were continuing playing, even though we had guessed Nosferatu. So we succeeded in that part of the story and got to move on to Act 2. And it was a really neat little system. So that is what we do. So that is what we do. And yeah, so that's that. Sorry, I was just got distracted for a second. I can't hear you. No audio. Yeah.
That was weird. Anyway, I really like the flavor in Hangman. It's a really neat. It's got a very different tone than the games you normally play. The fact that I believe we always play teenagers, right? Is it always teenagers?
Usually it's teenagers or early college. Yeah.
Sure. There's just this really fun slasher movie kind of vibe to it. I'm a real big fan of the idea of we don't do this a lot, especially since we play D&D so much. You don't usually play normal people who are severely underpowered for whatever they're facing. It makes you have to kind of use a different skill set. You don't say, all right, what legendary abilities do I have? It's like, no. Do you have a crowbar? Maybe you could do that. Do you want to break this window? Probably not. Normal people can't break windows.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, Jay asked if we were going to write out the rules. I think we're going to be...
I'm going to put together a PDF eventually, and we'll have that available somewhere. I don't know where yet. I haven't decided if that's going to be bonus content or we're just going to put it out there. We'll probably just put it out there since I basically put out all the rules right there.
Sure.
It'll just be a nice little thing we'll have out there available on the website somewhere.
Maybe also putting things like a DM resources page that's like DMs only, that has like, here are the places you could go to find the monsters you could use for this, because not everybody's going to necessarily know what to use. Yeah.
I just looked up cryptids online on Google, and then I go and do I read the 2-paragraph wiki about them, and I'm like, okay, I got enough of an idea that if somebody went and Googled this afterwards, they'll understand what we're looking for.
Alrighty. So yay, Hangman, I give it 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the heck out of being the first death in that game. That was real fun.
It has been a pretty intense game, and the idea it only lasts an hour, so it doesn't. It's not
and just for the record,
straight.
One thing that we do when we die in Hangman is we can make ourselves black and white. So we've faded out. I actually full blurred myself when we did it. It was very dramatic and hilarious. But we use SparkoCam for everybody's cameras for Countless Heroes because we have other reasons to have that. But the ability to change the coloration and stuff so dramatically on your camera, really fun. So I enjoyed doing that during the game. All right, shall we move on?
Sure.
Okay. So next one is Light Up the Forge, our weekly, completely voluntary advertisement for a partner we have at Nerdsmith, World Anvil. Let me see if I can try to remember how Logan always pitches it during Countless. World Anvil is the most robust world-building system, bar none. Trust me, I've tried and paid for them all. Something like that.
World Anvil is the most robust world building and campaign management software that exists on the internet today. Trust me, I've tried them all. And that's true. I have. I've tried them all. I paid for them all. I've put about $250, $300 out there in different services and features, and there is no software that does any better.
So, World Anvil exists. It's super fun. We like using it a lot. We're starting to fill out our Countless Heroes world, the world of Vale, and something that we were not informed of, something we knew was going on for World Anvil was their World Ember challenge, which is a writing challenge for your world building when you're using World Anvil between December 1st through January 1st. It is a challenge to try to write 10,000 words worth of content in your World Anvil account or campaign. So they have prizes that are worth like over $1,000 worth of prizes, and you can get awards and little badges and stuff for doing things. There's also voting, so you can get best location article, best plot article, so you can play around with it. We're going to be participating in just the fact that we have a lot of content we have to start putting into World Anvil, so it's a good motivator for us to actually get some of that stuff done while also playing the game, which is also a fun thing. I'm very much looking forward to it. Me and some of the scribes for Countless Heroes are going to be working away at getting our articles written, and I'm very, very excited about it.
And I am there to help in any way possible.
You're there to give us the content.
The actual writing.
It's gonna be Logan. I'm gonna walk down a list of all the NPCs. You gotta tell me what they look like.
Absolutely willing to.
So that's one thing is getting a bunch of our NPCs.
Of that.
Yeah,
we will absolutely take some extra time to stream some of that.
Well, then December is a great time to do that because we'll be filling out a lot of information.
And not that I'm saying we'll stream constantly during that time, but between December 25th and 26th and the new year, I have that entire week off, booked completely off. I get it off from work paid, which is very nice. So I will be on as much as Angela will tolerate me, and we could probably get a lot done during that time as well. So does it go to the end of the month? You probably said that, but I didn't hear it.
December 1st to January 1st.
Perfect.
But yeah, so we'll be doing that. There's...
It's going to be a slow time during that month anyway. So.
Oh, well, so the World of Vale, we're not actually shooting for 10,000 words total. We're shooting to double that because we already wrote 10,000 words in our World Anvil. We just hit that number, so we'll be aiming... No, those don't count. But in general, I'm going to be shooting to have 20,000 total.
Right.
On our account. And I'm very, very much looking forward to doing it.
I also would like to set a goal with you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
That by the end of December, we have the Goa, one of our homebrew races, completely fleshed out and on there, at least up to the level of quality, or at least close as we can come to the level of quality of that homebrew that we just saw today. Because that was really, really
that's
nice.
The bar. That's the bar. Is make it look like that.
That's what we want to look like. We want to be that amazing. So maybe we'll have to reach out and be like, "Hey, teach us, please."
So our first
layouts, but they don't feel like D&D. That felt like D&D. I'm sure it's just something I'm not quite getting the fonts or whatever. But
I will go look at the resources that Walrock did to get the right formatting and stuff. There's a lot of Photoshop.
Guild offers a lot of resources. Like here's a layout guide. Here's this. I know they have that. All I see are eyeballs in the dark. That's all I see.
Eyes in the dark. I have a goblin.
Yes, like, hello.
I have a goblin. He hangs out.
Hey, hello. Feed me. Me.
And this is why Puppy Cam needs to exist.
We need
then you see Whiskey who's hanging right there. You see, like I said, you see his eyes and his chest. It's fine.
all we see are his eyes right now, and they're kind of creepy.
Always adorable. But yeah, so we'll be working on the Goa as a big article that we're going to put a lot of energy into. If you haven't seen Countless Heroes, the Goa are a homebrew race that we made. Basic elevator pitch for them is that they are alabaster-like golems. They are made of stone, and they are carved in just about any likeness within reason for a humanoid. They can come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. The sub races for them are different sizes of Goa that have different abilities based on the fact of their stature and what they've been built for. Their purpose and their sculpt are very intertwined. Like the kind of abilities they get are very much intertwined with how they were made by their makers. So yeah, we are a big fan of the Goa. I helped a lot with designing them, and I play our sort of premier Goa on Countless Heroes. So it's been a lot of fun designing that race, and I'm very much looking forward to building out their culture and their home city where they live, and maybe some of their slightly more dark past that I'm not as aware of because Logan runs the game and has only hinted at certain things for me in terms of world building. I might never know. We'll find out.
True.
But I think that will be a very good starting article to put a lot of the professional touches on. I'm looking forward to putting the button on the Goa building. And as far as other things on World Anvil are concerned, I know we're going to be doing a lot of article building over the next month, just by pure virtue of the fact that World Ember is happening. But we are also going to be working on the map feature that they have. You can put layers on your maps. So we're talking about doing we have a city map and then a district breakdown of the city. So you can see the different faction areas in Cinderhaven. And we'll be, as we fill out the articles, we'll be tagging the map with locations for things as we make location articles. So we might have to decide where certain things are as we go making those articles. Yeah, so we'll be doing that. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to the World Anvil stuff.
Alrighty, me too. Truck and light are wrong. Truck and
light are wrong.
Truck and light are wrong. I think it's time to play a game.
Okay, we're playing a game.
Yeah, we have to beat our record of whatever we got last time. You wrote it down.
4, I think.
It was 4, I think. All right. So we're playing a game called Geek Out, but not the way we're supposed to play it, which is the best way to play most games. So, Angela, you need to roll a D5 for me, and then we're going to pick a name on here. And it's like the original game is a lot like Name That Tune, where you bid back and forth to name as many geeky things as you can. We just give ourselves a timer, which I should probably get up.
My pup just brought in his hedgehog toy and then looked at me very pleadingly. He wants very much for me to play with the toy, and I'm just like, buddy, I'm streaming right now. And when Puppy Kim comes up, I will play. I rolled 3.
All right, so we give ourselves 1 minute. And there's the timer down there. It's not very well laid out. It looks like crap. I'm sorry. So you said 3?
Yes, I did 3.
This one's a tough one. Mm-hmm. We need to name 2 films in which the Bermuda Triangle is mentioned. Minimum 2. Actually, our minimum is 4 because we're trying to beat our previous record. I'm going to go ahead and click start. And with a start, I am going to say Addams Family Values.
Damn it! That was the only one I had. I literally can't confirm any of my other guesses.
I don't know any others. I'm going to say any movie that talks about Amelia Earhart.
I was going to say Night at the Museum. That was going to be one of my guesses.
That one. There's several. There's a Star Trek episode.
Do you think they make an offhanded comment in Castaway?
I'm sure Castaway.
Joking about it? I don't know.
We're gonna claim Castaway. That's still only 3.
Are there answers on the card?
No, there's not. You have to.
They don't even know if this is the thing. There might not even be a list of these things.
They're not. You can't Google right now. You went to wait till. Oh shoot! 6, 5. Yeah, go ahead and Google. We're done. We didn't make it.
Wow, Bermuda Triangle movies is
our ridiculous game.
Well, surprise, surprise. Most of the things on this list use the word triangle in the title of the movie.
Such as?
The Bermuda Triangle. Bermuda. The Triangle from 2001 and 2005.
Oh.
Let's see. Lost in the Bermuda Triangle. Secrets of the Bermuda Triangle. Mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. So yes.
Are you sure you're not just looking for titles that have it?
Actual words. Actual movies. The Fantastic Journey. Scooby-Doo, Pirates Ahoy, which I haven't seen.
Of course.
The 2010 Gulliver's Travels with Jack Black, which we're going to forget existed. Sure. And Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters, which definitely makes sense.
Sure. No mention of Addams Family Values?
It's just movies about the Bermuda Triangle are definitely going to mention them. That's the safest thing. Then what's had a dialogue line that includes the words Bermuda Triangle? I will say that the first option is a 1975 TV movie called Satan's Triangle, and I'm like, anyone who follows popular culture lately might notice that that's something different now.
Bermuda Triangle is mentioned. That's ridiculous.
It's bullshit. Right. That's a bullshit question. I call bullshit on that.
I agree with you.
Okay. Moving on. Funhouse rules. Okay, so this is a homebrew rule that we're going to talk about that we use a little bit in Countless Heroes. We have used it tremendously in our previous campaign to what I think was great effect. This is a homebrew system or homebrew rule called Moments. Something that Logan implemented a little later in our campaign.
We're going to be out of content by the next time we come around.
It'll be fine. What? We're doing content.
Using all my content. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So moments. I can give the player's perspective, but like you can talk about why you initially wanted to, like what it is. What is a moment?
So a moment in the game, the original way it came up was we had run a campaign called Tolus. It was a West Margin style campaign similar to Countless Heroes, and I needed a way to do grand scale combat. I borrowed. I'm not giving it back. I stole a something from Griffin McElroy's Stolen Century. Actually, it was the end of his campaign. If you haven't watched his campaign, go watch it. I stole a lot from the Adventure Zone. But this was a way the characters earned special little points called bonds. And then they got to spend these bonds in this campaign. They were going to go and defeat the big bad. And they got to call in allies and enemies, people that they could use these bonds that they had created. Now, they could have created the bond with some barber in Shat Town, and then use that bond to purchase the previous big bad. One of them called in one of their enemies to help them out, and we justified by figuring out a way to kind of ask them or manipulate them into being able to help. But the basic idea is that I needed a way after we had armies of people to be involved in a 4-hour online session with 8 to 12 people, or however many. We had 11 people at the time or something. No, it was before you and Andy joined, right?
No, you implemented it. We were there. We were in the game, or rather, I was in the game.
You were in the game with what's his name?
Kill Raven.
Kill Raven. Okay,
yeah,
so that was just.
I was definitely there. I smashed a bunch of clone tanks.
So we were. That's right. Yeah, you were the one that. Anyway, so we needed an opportunity to make each player feel special in this grand scale combat. Now I went into this going, there's no chance they're not winning. I mean, there's no chance. This is not a life or death situation. The players are fed up with this character who emotionally manipulated them to the point of threatening all of their families. And proving that he could back that up, or at least it seemed that way. And some people just snapped and they're like, we're done. So in a few hours, they had amassed this huge group of people to go and attack this fortress, basically. So there's no chance they weren't going to win. So I thought, how am I going to make this memorable and important for everyone? So I gave each of them a certain number of moments. So as we went through, I described the combat and where they were and how they were going through, and then I gave them complete power to do whatever they wanted. I said, what is your goal with your moment? I don't want to know exactly what it is because I'll worry about the description. But you look around and like, I want to do this. So, and some people came up with some little flavor on their own, and then I would take it and I would expand it to a much larger thing. Like at one point, Angela was staring around and seeing all of their allies laying on the floor dead, hundreds or dozens and dozens of their allies on the floor dead around them. And she had an artifact that had been given to her by her church. I hadn't described what the artifact does because, again, in this situation, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's going back to the church after they're done. It's going to be shipped on to the next area that it's needed. It can do something in this situation that is necessary for the story. It doesn't have to do that the next time, because it's important for this moment. So she walked over and she goes, I want to help people. I want to go and heal everyone, except they're dead. It's not about healing them, although they're still in combat. It's only been a few moments. It's only been a few seconds. So she walks over and she holds her staff up and she channels, what's the spell? The 1 minute resurrection.
Well, I was going to say, you asked us to pick a spell, even if it was small, like to do something. And I said, so I was later in the game or in the session, and I knew that other people had done something and that he'd blown it up, and I just said she just casts Raise Dead. It's very simple.
No, it wasn't Raise Dead. It was the 1 minute version of that.
Shoot.
Somebody help us out.
Hold on.
What's the 1 minute Raise Dead?
Hold on. I have it. Revivify. It was Revivify.
Revivify, thank you. So you cast Revivify, and I all right. So you go over and as you put the staff up above, it starts to go. This may be paraphrasing. It may not be exact.
Yeah,
I believe I had like angel wings kind of glow and grow off of
something
you,
like that.
And the light just came from the tips of all the wings and spread out. And
Probably
every one of their
dragons,
allies was brought up and healed up to about, I think, half weary or bloodied or whatever it's called at the time. And all so that was the moment. That was this moment that Angela's character got to have in that game. And then we had different moments for different people. Mm-hmm. They would each have this opportunity to do something amazing in the combat. I believe Tessa's character turned into a T-Rex and then crawled inside of the gigantic brain thing you were fighting.
Ate the brain. Just ate the brain from the inside. Jumped inside
and at one point she'd like a chest burster out of it or something. I don't remember. Anyway, the point is, there you go. T-Rex Chomp. It wasn't, what did we call it? It wasn't T-Rex. It was Chompy. Was that the name of the...
No, it was
the little dude. The little.
I don't remember the T-Rex's name.
I don't know. Anyway, that's what a moment was. It was these different. This is the opportunity to let people have these big moments during these large sessions, and it still will be that, but it's evolved into something new. What I do now is, especially with these shorter sessions, we get stuck in these moments where it's like 10:30, 10:45. We're in combat, sometimes just starting combat. And if it is not a crucial combat, but it's a combat that still needs to happen, if it is not life or death, and it still needs to happen, what I'll do is I'll slip into moments. Now, it has to happen a lot in Countless Heroes. Dupree, that's what it was.
Dupree the T-Rex. Sorry.
It hasn't happened a lot in Countless Heroes yet. But what'll happen is you'll see me go, all right, we're going to go into moments. And then we're going to go straight into initiative. Everyone's going to have one series of moments. And then whoever gets the last moment is going to be able to get the killing blow on the monster. And it still makes the combat feel amazing because each character gets to do something really cool. And there's no continuity. You don't have to be like, okay, you go and then this happens. It's not one round. It's the entire combat. So it can be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds of combat all just kind of happening. But you only have one moment. Like, what do you do during your moment when people look over and the camera pans to you and cuts to you? What are they showing? Iron Man's not over there pulling goop off of his chest. He's sitting there exploding some monster from the inside because that's what he's doing in his moment. But then in the next scene he's sitting there picking baloney off of his chest because that's what they threw at him. That's the type of thing. Baloney makes great set dressing, by the way, but that's what they do. It's that's what moments are now to me now. And I even have a system for when necessary for when moments have drawbacks as well. People will roll and they'll have to not only describe something positive, but also something negative that happens to them during that combat. I
love that feature. I think it gives the players agency. Like, I really love the moment system just because of what you had said. It gives them that heroic moment. And we've talked a lot about the fact that a lot of our homebrew rules are there to offset the idea that sometimes the dice are just not with you that day, and that shouldn't negate your ability to have fun during the game. And some people have trouble breaking away from, some people have trouble embracing failure because they're afraid of what it'll do in the game to their, they love their character. They don't want their character to die. They don't want another character to get hurt because of them. And so we do a lot of stuff that try to minimize that feeling of, just fate is not with me perpetually. Like, even out of game, you feel like you're failing. And the moments help with that a lot. They give you that empowerment moment of, you guys are heroes for a reason.
Yeah.
You can do cool things.
There is this idea, we are a no spoiler culture. And I'm for that. There's some things I don't want to be spoiled on. Sixth Sense, The Village, Fight Club. Those are movies Usual Suspects. Those are movies I'm very happy I was not spoiled on. But there's also another side of that there's proof out there, there's been some research done, that spoilers in a general sense, other than those big reveals, do not remove enjoyment of watching those shows and movies. They actually don't take anything away. You still enjoy it. People still say they enjoy it just as much in this research. Now, I'm not saying that it's exact and it's the same for everyone, but that's how I feel in these moments. It's like, well, we didn't roll the dice, so it doesn't count. Yes, it still does. At least every player I've ever played with, no one has looked at these moments as if they were cheap or as if they didn't happen. try it. See what your players think, because I still have players that talk about the Kill Raven fight. To this day, the things that were done in that. Dupree chomping out the brain is one of the big ones. Angela's moment there. There was some Rosie did some lightning. I can't remember Rosie. Jenny. There were some amazing moments in that campaign, and I don't have the best memory, so I have an issue with remembering all of them. But they keep bringing them up, and I'm just like, it just blows my mind.
Well, one thing that kind of makes me really appreciate those moments. It does. People naturally, when they play these games, there tend to be those stories of, oh man, you remember when that happened? This allowed us to like live those moments when it happened. Like, it was just as exciting in the actual session, describing the moment and letting it be really badass. And instead of just waiting for years later to being, oh, I remember, you remember the summary of what happened. This was the little summary of what was cool.
Absolutely. I think part of that comes from the idea that you get to say what it is, and then I describe it.
Yeah.
And allowing you to live in the moment that you see your character doing this thing.
Still get surprised by the way you choose to describe it.
Yeah, exactly. There's still a little bit of that flavor and fun to it. Because everybody, especially in those big combats, deserve to have a moment. I would hate to be the one that goes through the boss fight, missing every single roll, and failing every little thing. So we've done everything we can to eliminate that. And this was a boss fight, but there was no chance with the amount of help they had that the players were not succeeding in making it through. So I decided in that moment to just allow it to be an epic level combat. In the major battles in Lord of the Rings, other than the one where Boromir went down. But in any of those,
what did you just say about spoilers?
That was all right. That one is way off the table. No, but the point is that wasn't a big battle. That was a tiny battle. But the big battles. Did you ever go into any of those going, oh my God, somebody in the Fellowship is going to die in one of the. No.
There's 2.5 hours left in this movie. There's no way they all die.
No way. Oh, you're watching the director's extended cut.
Only the extended cuts.
The Criterion extended director's cut. 40 hours of Lord of the Rings. Who would want to watch that? We couldn't answer. We were drooling too much. All right.
My father repeatedly.
Yeah. But those moments, it does not cheapen it. I guarantee you. If you have a player that thinks it cheapens it, try it. If they don't like it, don't do it. It's okay. But there are just times when a slog of combat is not worth it. Now,
right. It's not worth sticking to the rules so stringently and that's the other thing that's really cool about the moments is you get so much flexibility. You're not limited by, all right, my push-pull drag is this much. I can't go 15 feet with this thing. You just sort of glaze over a lot of the structural limitations of the mechanics because you're just trying to tell a cool story moment. And the way Logan runs it, at least, gives us a lot more freedom, especially since we're not dealing with 6-second actions either. You can describe a more complex thing that you do. So, like, during Countless Heroes, my barbarian climbed up on top of a beholder. Like, that could have taken a lot. That could have failed in many, many ways. But because it was my moment, he let me do that. And I was able to describe the fact that she, like, sort of swung up there and was on the stalk of the beholder, trying to goof it off. Like, not goof it off. That sounded weird. Trying to goof up its aim with the eye so it wouldn't hit people.
You grab that eye stalk and you goof it off good.
Yeah.
I don't. That's weird. You're not living that one down for a while.
No.
All right. Yes. Anyway, that's moments. That is what I do with it. That is a system that I don't know that I can exactly write up, but I'll try at some point to describe it a little better. But it is a tough one to kind of grab onto exactly because it changes a lot in the moment. I also now use it as that is my how do you want to do this? I didn't want to just grab that, but I used to say I didn't used to let people describe that last big moment, and I don't always. It's got to be a good combat, but I now say describe your moment because that is in a normal combat. that is a person that deserves a moment. That person that gets that killing blow, which can unfortunately not, it varies from who it is, and it definitely favors the high damage characters. But
I beg to differ, but go ahead. That can be another conversation.
Okay, but just because you have a tendency to take things down to 1 or 2 hit points, but letting them have that moment there gives you that flavor of it, but in a more minimal kind of situation, in a small scale situation.
Anyway, Jay and I are just bitching in the chat.
I don't know.
Really, the barbarians aren't complaining?
No, I don't think that you guys are high damage characters. Barbarians don't do a lot of damage. They can take a lot. They can punish. They can do some damage. But I'm talking about spike damage. I'm talking about like single hit, huge damage characters.
Jay's got an example, but we're not going to argue it. We'll argue it during game. Anyway.
He did not do all the rest of the damage. Okay, all right, most of it maybe. There are certain combats where certain things other than damage may need to be satisfied before you can take something out. I'll put that out there about that Saldana fight. There may have been something else that needed to happen before you could take Saldana down. So that may have been part of that. So
enjoy that lack of context, audience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am a big fan of moments. I think we can make a video out of that. I think we can talk a little bit about moments in a video and describe, what they're designed to do, what they the idea of the negative positive, I think, is a really good one. I didn't talk much about that when you mentioned it. I love that idea of putting agency in the hand of the players, that they get to be cool, but then they also have to think about their characters being fallible and embracing that fallibility. I like that idea a lot. And it also tells you something about your character, your players, when you say, have something bad happen to your character, and you can see how willing they are to hurt their character for the sake of drama.
And that is something that we should talk about. I think that should be a whole topic on its own, is this idea of the story. This is a concept I go back to. Failing, it makes a much better story than succeeding. And this was an issue I've had in the past with people who went online. People roll their own dice. You don't know what they're actually rolling, and you can see patterns sometimes of people. Not, you're like, oh, you haven't rolled anything under an 18 for 12 sessions now. Maybe it's time to change those dice out. But failing it makes such a better story. It is important to the story, especially at low levels. At high levels, you're going to be doing epic stuff every other day. At low levels, when you fail, it makes those things more important. But overall, it makes a better story. If you're just going to succeed at everything, we might as well just do moments for everything and just move on there. But another thing I wouldn't mind talking about in the same vein, and maybe as a contrast to that, is the idea of player failure and how they see it from their side of things, and how it concerns them, and they feel like they let people down and they have to succeed. It is dramatic. It is scary to be the one that rolls in that one. And in my game, you get a choice if you take a hero die. So when you roll in that one in my game, and I think we talked about this last week. No, we haven't talked about this one. I can't remember. We'll talk about this one, or we already have. When you roll in that one in my game, you get a chance to take a hero die. If you
talked about hero die was all last week.
It's just a failure. If you take the hero die, you get a hero die, which can automatically succeed on a roll. It can prevent a lot of damage. It can do a lot of things. You can also just use it as a D6 addition to an any D20 roll. It is very valuable, but you also are making the decision that I'm going to do something to fuck with you. And because I made the hero die so powerful now, I'm not nice about it anymore. I'm not like, it's only going to affect you. I'm not like, it is something that is going to be messed up. You may hit another player for critical damage. That's a lot. But this hero die will come in clutch. There will be a moment when you need it, and you will have it. You can automatically succeed on that save, or automatically. It's like having a legendary point. We'll talk more about that system another time, but that is something I like to talk about, is failure, and in my game, making those choices to go, yeah, in this moment I'm going to go ahead and take that failure and get that hero die, because I think it's a better story. So I think talking about both those, like a yin and yang kind of aspect, would be a lot of fun.
I agree.
As long as you remember you have them, yes.
I can show this off now. So next to my monitor, I have a bunch of Post-its that tell you what hero die do, because I never want to forget all the situations that I can use hero die. It's very important.
Very nice. Awesome. We have 5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, we can hold off on
play by post.
Yeah, we can save that for next time. What are you looking forward to this week?
I am looking forward to maybe getting some actual videos done for Discover RPG, not just the streams, which would be nice. At least get some scripts written or some layouts done. That would be a lot of fun. And then in Countless Heroes, I am looking forward to. I put over the last few weeks in Arc 2, I've put a lot of teasers out there, and I am looking forward to the players maybe starting to tie up some loose ends and start to bring things back around. As tonight, I believe the players will be getting a surprise about one of the big. I know not everyone here watches the show. I apologize, but about one of the big things that's going on, the shadow essence that you guys have been filling that container with. There's a surprise about that coming up, because you guys have kind of focused on other things since you've gotten it, and then the couple of times you try to use it, it's a very difficult thing to use. But there's going to be a surprise coming up tonight that might help out with that. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to the players maybe making a little effort to tie up those loose ends and start to knock off some of those things off their to-do list, instead of just going out treasure hunting and whatnot.
Treasure hunting can be fun.
It's a lot of fun, but it also gives me an opportunity to introduce continuing plot lines from Arc 1. So that was a lot of fun to finally get that to be able to happen. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, mostly looking forward to doing the role play, and looking forward to working on my devious Muppet layout so I can get the stream started for that, and maybe start at some point next week playing Stanley Parable.
A little birdie in chat mentioned that there's a real life thing you're looking forward to, potentially the birth of someone that you. Is there
Is somebody being born? It's my daughter's birthday this weekend.
There you go. I think that's what was being hinted at in chat. But
she's 14 years old and having a sleepover with 2 other 14-year-olds. Why am I excited about this? I am not excited or looking forward to that at all. I love my daughter, or my child, sorry. I love my child a lot. But I... No.
That didn't count. My question was about gaming.
Strangers in my house. There's a reason I'm on the internet, not in person, although I do the in-person thing too. Speaking of that, WonderCon, let's talk about that for a second. We have just submitted our panels for WonderCon, so we're looking at doing 3 or 4 different panels. Hopefully we'll get accepted, at least 1 or 2 of them. We're looking at doing our podcasting 101. We might start doing a streaming 101 at some point. I think we put that in. Tess, maybe you can help me out with which ones we did. And then we're looking again to talk about diversity in gaming, in tabletop gaming, which will be coming up. So hopefully that'll happen soon. Also, I think somebody made a good suggestion earlier that we should be in a different category on Twitch.
I was going to bring that up after, but sure.
Last time we looked, they didn't have a tabletop RPG category.
I know
that's new. So we'll probably be moving over there, or we'll move to talk shows. I don't know. I think we'll probably do better in tabletop.
I think tabletop would do. I think more people would.
Although there's not as many people as in here, so I worry we won't get as discovered, but that's okay.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We do our own discovering. For we are Discover RPG.
We are the discoverers. So Tessa looks like she's busy, so I don't know what the other one we did are. Diversity in Gaming, Podcasting 101, and the table.
Yeah.
From the table to the stream. So the difference.
So across the streams, the panel.
Yeah, the difference is between gaming at the table and gaming on the stream. So hopefully WonderCon will take one of those to heart and let us do that. If not more, we'd be glad to do one a day or anything. We'll be there for the entire thing. We're hoping to throw a Nerdsmith after party if we can put the fundage together. If nothing else, we'll just get together at a bar and hang out.
Yes, at minimum. Absolutely.
And we'll make sure it's a hotel bar so that if possible, so underage people can make it if they want. Because I know that's been an issue with some of the parties that have been thrown in the past. If necessary, we'll see what's going on. We're going to do our best. That's all I can promise. We're going to do our best. We're going to make mistakes. Nerdsmith we're not infallible. We will make mistakes. I guarantee it. And we apologize in advance for them. And we promise that we will do our best to correct them. That's all we can do. I am never ever in my life going to say that I'm not going to make a mistake, because I know I will. But anyway, so that is our show.
Yeah,
that is Discover RPG, and I gotta get the thing ready.
Time flies by, right?
Yeah, we could do this for hours, and that's the thing. We're probably still gonna do that. We got work to do after this. We're not going anywhere. Just you are. But instead of you sitting here watching us not talk for 20 minutes and typing away on our computers, and then going, oh, by the way, this thing. We just sit here and focus and get a lot of this out of the way, because that lets us focus a little better, because half of this stuff we would have talked about anyway.
Very true.
All right. So if you want to submit your questions, or you have anything you'd like to see us talk about, or any homebrew or anything, you can do that. You can send it to drpg@nerdsmith.org, or you can find us on Twitter @DiscoverRPGShow.
Yep. Or DM either one of us. You can find our
our Twitter
follow one of us.
Twitter is right.
Twitters.
Oh, my monitor's in the way. It's right down here. The tutors. We also have the Nerdsmith Discord down in the doobly-doo. If you want to go down there and come and join us, we'd be glad to answer questions and things in the chat over there as well. And the Nerdsmith Discord has a very unique sort of onboarding process that people find a lot of fun. It is an adventure. Love them tutors. I didn't know that about you, Zach.
Are we tooting and booting? Is that what we're doing? Or saying what we like and don't like?
I don't know.
I do approve of dance party exit, though. So if we want to put
dance party exit.
Okay, good.
So anyway, thank you again so much. We are Discover RPG. I am Logan. That is Angela to my right. And we really appreciate you. And we want to thank you guys for being here. Head over to nerdsmith.org to watch other amazing shows. And if you'd like to come along, see us tonight with Countless Heroes, episode 75, I believe, tonight. 75 of our epic here. And it's hard to dance and talk at the same time. This is pretty much all you get. I can do the white guy overbite if you like. But those are about my only dance moves. I can do the sprinkler and the lawnmower too, but that's only because my buddy.
It's slightly less effective when you're sitting down, though.
When you're sitting down, it's kind of weird, yeah. But that's about it. That's all I got. And I took.
I'll be on Countless tonight.
And a few of our audience will be in Countless tonight. Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming along. We really appreciate that. You are amazing, and we are Nerdsmith. And if you want to be, so are you. Goodbye,
be good to each other. Bye.